Alrighty, everybody. Hey, we're just doing the last little bit of adjusting some stuff here. Today, welcome to Retired in Korea. Rick, I'm not Rick, I'm Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, American expat living in Korea. Yes, the wife and I retired here. For a little bit of background, for those of you who don't know, the wife and I, we sold everything. Lock, stock, and barrel. The house, the cars, the guns, the ammo, all of everything we had, everything including the kitchen junk drawer. It was quite the endeavor of selling everything. I mean everything. And we showed up with just a couple of suitcases to Korea. We got Corsair the Pirate. Hello, good evening. Good evening, sir. It's good morning here in Korea. It's 7:15. Oh, we got Zombie Hunter pops in. Hey, good. Haven't seen you in a while. I've been remiss in doing some stuff. I've been a little sidetracked and trying to get back on track. Rocking the latte there. Make sure I don't spill it. Oh, it is really good today. Doing a salted caramel. Nailed it perfect this time. So what we ended up doing is we sold everything, and I mean everything. It ends up, we did garage sales, we did Facebook Marketplace, which is a strange thing to begin with, just telling strangers, hey, show up to the house, and that's the way it is. So it's pretty fun. Sloan Seaman 8776 says, why are you up so early? I'm usually up earlier than this. It's about 7:15 here in Korea in the morning. Usually I'm up by 5. And that's because I got some chronic pain issues, and if I sleep any longer, then my back gets messed up and it causes more pain. So yeah, I'm usually up by 5 o'clock. Then I just piddle around, do some stuff, and make the latte and do all that. So yeah, it's a thing. It's early, but I try to get my sleep in. So even though I don't get sleep, regular sleep, like a full 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep, sometimes what I'll end up doing is taking a nap during the day. So that's kind of good. Corsair the Pirate says, I just finished making chocolate chip cookies. How easy is that to do? We have the worst stove ever. Oven. It is horrible. I do like Korea. I do love the apartment that I bought. It's really good. A lot of great amenities to it, bidets. You can't, if you haven't done a bidet, oh my gosh, you'll never be cleaner. But other things are pretty neat, but the oven is not one of them. The Korean oven that we have is kind of like this weird shape, and you can't put a US size cookie tray in it. Hell, we couldn't even find a regular tray in any of the Korean stores except for a little tiny tray like that. And the wife tried making cookies, and the cookie, you could get one cookie out of maybe 1.5 cookies cooked out of the 6. It was really odd. And so many people said it was just horrible. They're horrible. So we're in the market for a new convection range and then a real good oven. So the wife is plugging away, checking out reviews on that, and we'll see how that goes. Because we do miss our chocolate chip cookies, and she would rock them. Dun, 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 dun. Easy to do. Ingredients on base? Yep. Definitely get them at the commissary. They're cheaper at the commissary on the military base, which I have access to because I'm retired military. Off-post Koreans, you can find some of that stuff, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and the taste is a little bit different. Sloan says, I'm up for work. It's freezing in Seoul. Not looking forward to the commute. Oh, yes, it is extremely cold today. For those people, we just had a cold, oh my gosh, we just had a cold dip. And so it's 17 degrees right now. Where I'm at, close to Pyeongtaek, and the high is supposed to be 38 degrees. Yeah, 38 degrees. And then, 40% chance of, might even get snow tomorrow. High will be 38. Later on in the week, we'll get into 40s, maybe 57. They'll dip back down into the mid 40s. So yeah, it's It's a little cold there in Korea. And yesterday was the coldest. That was really cold. It was bone chilling cold. So yeah, I don't. But at least the heaters should be on in the trains and the buses and stuff like that. And Koreans are pretty good about keeping the heat on, at least in my experience. Rah-rah pops up. Just arrived. Have you tried using your printer bed for the oven? No, I have not. But that is an interesting idea. That is, and especially since our oven doesn't work well, that is very tempting because I do miss homemade chocolate chip cookies. And I taught the wife how to make chocolate chip cookies. She took it on and boy, everybody loves them. And she used to bake a lot and stuff like that. But since we got here, we just really haven't. So yeah, the next agenda is going to be getting, a new convection oven or range for the top and then a new oven. So yeah, but I might try that. I'm wondering if that would work because you can get your print bed on your 3D printer up to some pretty high temperatures. I think it's like 60 degrees Celsius for the K2 Plus. And it's an enclosed heater. It's a K2 Plus or printer. It's a K2 Plus from Creality. So you could heat basically it's an oven. It could be an oven. So that's an interesting thing. I would try that out, but I'm printing out some cool stuff. So I'm going to do a big sword. We'll see how that goes. Corsair says, do you have an air fryer? Yes, we do. It's kind of like miniature size, like that big maybe. So you're kind of hinting at making cookies in an air fryer, huh? Interesting. I'll have to look that up. But I want a new oven. Wife wants a new oven. I want a new oven. So but the air fryer, we'll see what happens. Rara says, sounds like the heated bed chamber of the K2 Plus is bigger than the ovens you have over there. Three Musketeers cooked a steak in his. Really? Wow. That's kind of impressive. Yeah, if you could do steak, I imagine you could do cookies. That wouldn't be a big problem. And you have the sheet, just pop them off and your cookies are good to go. And man, now all you need is just put the dough into a modified 3D printer and then and just make your cookies. Corsair says, not sure, maybe air fryer cookies? That might be a thing. I mean, we've cooked meat in there. We've cooked a lot of other things in the air fryer. Not to mention French fries, tater tots, and all that kind of stuff. Sweet potatoes, we've done that, regular potatoes. So I wouldn't see why not. I mean, that's probably entirely doable. The small air fryer we have, it'd probably maybe do like 3 cookies. But that would be, if they cooked, that would be better than the no cookies that we're currently getting right now with our oven. So yeah, we'll have to look into that. Hey, we have Ferthus here. Hey, good morning. Good evening, sir. Good to see you. Always good to have Ferthus aboard, along with everybody else as well. So, that is really good. Oh, I just nailed it on that one. That was really, really good. Crema was perfect on there. I don't know if we can. Let's see if we can. We can put this in there and you can see that without making too much of a mess. Oh, so good. Oh, so good. It was so good. Let me see. Get back to normal. There we go. Yeah, really nailed it this morning. I was super happy with that. Let's see. Rara pops up and says, do you like your K2 Plus ramen bed? Watch your video on the install. Did you end up having to change stuff in your printer config file? No, I did not. So that was kind of a good thing. I know there were some things on the ramen site for that graphite bed. They were saying that you might have to change some stuff in the config file. I did not. So yeah, bonus. I went from the bed leveling with the K2 Plus with the stock bed, which is aluminum bed, which you think would be pretty level, but it was like 0.9696. And that's after I leveled it, so it was worse using the knobs underneath the bed. It was worse than that before. And then with the graphite bed, I got it down to 0.28 something, or 26, 0.268 something, whatever. So it was pretty good. And then now if I want to do any leveling, I would have to sand down the magnetic mat that's on the bed to get it even more level, which I could. But honestly, I'm getting good first layers. I'm getting good prints. Matter of fact, I'm in the process of printing out a Crimson Sword, as you can see there. And the first layers are pretty good. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting little thing that we got there. So it's working out pretty good. But yeah, I didn't have to mess with a config file. Rara says, yeah, I mean, how are you going to leave cookies for Santa if you can't cook any? Yeah, bad dad. I know, right? Maybe that's why I'm not getting anything, because I haven't made cookies. Might have to try that. Either it's going to be the air fryer. I think I'll try the air fryer for cookies. And then if I'm not printing anything, then I'll try to do some cookies on the K2 Plus. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, maybe that'll be a video, making cookies on the K2 Plus. That would be interesting. Ferrithus says you can run calibration from the console for the ROM in bed to tune the PID. Otherwise, it is plug and play. That is true. That is true. Ferrithus is a smart guy. He knows the information there. Yep, you can run calibration from the console, tune the PID. Otherwise, it's plug and play. And it's worked out great. You know, and if you use the what is it, the semicolon or colon 4408 or whatever it is, and you can get your bed mesh and take a look at the measurements and all that stuff. Yeah, I was really happy with the ramen bed. And the installation was, you know, I thought about doing a video, and then I started getting cameras and all this stuff. And then on the ramen website, I mean, they've got everything. So why reinvent the wheel? It was just really, really easy. So. Zombie says, okay, can't stay long. Oh no, I just wanted to say hi. I got to go to the doctor's to get blood results from my yearly check. Catch up with everyone later. Okay, well, hey, have a good checkup. Definitely good checkup. Ferrithus says, flatness is awesome. I got it to the whole bed down to 0.2 millimeter flat. Nice. And Rara pops in and says, yeah, Ramian just put a video saying to change stuff on printer config, but I run mine like yours without changing anything in the files. Yeah, I got mine down to 0.28 or 0.32 and love it. Yeah, it makes a difference. And then the other upgrade I did on the K2 Plus was a micro Swiss hot end, which was really, it was a really good upgrade. You know, the bed, probably didn't need that as much. I mean, I seriously thought about sanding down the stock K2 Plus magnetic pad on the bed and on the aluminum bed, and I thought about sanding that down to level that, and I was like, yeah, I could have done that. But I figured, you know, what the hell, we'll get the ramen graphite bed, and it was really good. And I'm seriously considering getting another K2 Plus, though I don't know. The Prusa Core 1L looks pretty interesting, but then, I don't know, we're in this place where, you know, Prusa came out with the index system from Bondtech, which is just so cool. Now, would I do multi-filament coloring stuff? I don't really think so. I think I'm just going to do armor and cosplay stuff. But it would be cool just to have that, just to have a Core 1L with the index system on there. I think that would be cool. The ultimate spare part head assembly. You can imagine having like, what, 8 or 10 of those on there? But they're still, it's just so expensive with Prusa. You know, they're what, in Prague or whatever it is, and the price of that thing is just, a little rough, you know. It'd be cool to have, but it's a little rough on the price. Whereas the K2 Plus, I think I can pick that up for like $1,000. Just the K2 Plus, no CFS. if it was just over, add a couple $100 on top of that if you get the combo, which I still might do. I don't know. Yeah, but really, I've got one CFS. It's been kind of finicky. And right now I'm printing off of the spool holder. I'm just doing some matte PLA. And, well, let me show you a little bit on how this turned out. So we're doing the sword, kind of a sword thing that we got going on here. And as you can see, it's come out pretty good. This is 0.2, and we got some real good lines on here and everything. And of course that was in the matte PLA white, so it turned out pretty good. And then we have other aspects of this sword. We're not done with this. It's printing out the blade as we speak. So this is a crimson sword, but everything came out really nice on this. I mean, got some real nice lines on it. And again, it's 0.2, and that's kind of a big, it's going to be a big sword because we got that. And just kind of give you an idea how big this sword is going to be. It's going to be about like that long. So it's going to be a pretty decent sized sword. And then there's still another piece that is printing out to capture all this in. So yeah, that'll be a cool little project there that we're printing out. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Ferris says we need a cookie printer. Yes, we do. And then we could laser engrave on top of the cookies for Santa or Krampus or whatever it is that you do. Raura says, my Micro Swiss is in the mail right now. They had a 30% sale. I bought the CM2 nozzles in all the sizes, 0.25 diamond nozzle and 0.6. And he also says, did you notice a big quality difference with the new stuff, with the new hot end? As far as quality, maybe a little bit, but the thing I did notice more was I wasn't getting clogs in my nozzle compared to the stock nozzles, the K2 Plus. So there was that, and that was really good. And the heat up and cool down is a lot faster than the stock hot end that I've seen. So I thought about doing a little test on it, and I wrote it down, the times on how hot it gets and how long it takes to heat up with the stock versus the Micro Swiss. And then I got involved, had a squirrel moment, did a bunch of other stuff, and then I lost the paper, and apparently I cleaned up and threw it away. So I have no clue, but it's definitely heats up faster, which means if it heats up faster, then you're going to save a little bit of time. But as far as quality, yeah, it's pretty good. But the 30% sale that they had, I just ordered another hot end from Micro Swiss. Matter of fact, it's just got the shipping notice yesterday. So that 30% off was like, what, $58, $59 or whatever it was that I showed you all. And boom, that's going to be pretty good. I didn't get any other nozzles because I'm just kind of doing the 0.4. So I think I'm good with that. I don't know. But a diamond nozzle, that'd be good. But I usually just print in PLA. I've done some, what did I do one time? ASA, I think it was. PETG, I do some of that, but that's about it. Ferris says, PLA is a no-brainer on that machine. Love it for detailed models. Yeah, it is really good. That's why I'm thinking about getting another one. But I am tempted with some of the other machines. So I don't know. But then I was thinking about it, like for the K2 Plus in what I'm printing out. Matter of fact, I guess I could show you. Excuse me. Pardon me, excuse me. So this is what we're printing out right now. Crimson Shadow Sword from Maker World, SAR W10. And that's what it's currently printing right there. The last little blade part there on the outside, which is going to be pretty good. And if we zoom out here, So it's got a number of plates, minus that right there. So we'll get rid of that plate. And so it ends up, you got the handle, pommel and stuff. This is like one you could print, but I did the half version, so it would be a little bit more sturdy, more strength to it. And then the rest of this stuff, you know, you can see we got some pretty good stuff on there. So, and when we did the, how much is this slice all? Seriously, really? Yes, I know. Well, we'll just get rid of that. Then we'll slice all and we'll see what happens to see how many hours that this came out to. But yeah, whatever it is, if I got another K2 Plus, what I could end up doing is printing 2 times as fast. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Other stuff, let's see. Besides winter getting here, we're planning a trip to the Philippines come February. So that's going to be an interesting little thing. If y'all could do me a favor and like the video, I would appreciate that. That would be awesome. Try to do the algorithm, appease the algorithm god. And let's see, what do we end up getting there? I'll just do a little picture here. And then we'll go back to here, and then we'll see what all that came out to. So a total of 3 days of printing for this. And I'm printing at 4 wall loops, 5% infill with adaptive cubic, and 0.2 layer height. So yeah, oh, thank you for the likes, folks. Appreciate that. So anyway, yeah, about 3 days of printing on this. And if I had another K2 Plus or another printer of some type, I could cut that down probably to half. I could have done the build plates, you know. Seriously, if we go back to the desktop here, and we take a look at this, I could have loaded up the stuff, like kind of moved everything and consolidate, but it's still going to be the same amount of time. My thought is that, well, if a print gets screwed up, I don't want it to screw up a lot of other stuff. So that's why I put it into this many number of plates. So I printed the smallest stuff first, like that plate there. And then I did that plate. And then I did that one, this one. And again, I'm on my Mac, so it's just it's always a little bit funny. I do have my Windows laptop in the other room. And then I ended up printing, oh, that's extra. Okay, so we already got, no, we don't need that one, because that's 2 of those. So it's less than that. We'll get rid of that one. Maybe. And yeah, so we should be good on this. I don't know. So anyway, I would be able to print more. That would always good to print more faster. So that's kind of the thing we got going on. But I got about 14 hours left on this print now. So yeah, it's gonna be a good print. I think it's gonna be a decorative thing. We'll do some good stuff. Rara says, I'm printing carbon fiber filaments, and I wanted the 0.25 nozzle for small threads on bolts and letters on small plaques. From what I've seen on YouTube, 0.25 looks like resin prints. Really? Wow. Okay. Looks like resin prints. That could be good. That could be good. Nice. Huh. I'll have to check that out. Honestly, I haven't done anything else for printing nozzles. I just stick with the 0.4 and just call it good. A lot of the figures that I print have been 0.16 millimeters, everything's starting to, the details are great on that, but imagine a smaller one like that. Good Lord, that would be some, you could, I don't know, what is the smallest layer height you could do on a 0.25 nozzle? That would be insane. Yeah. Veritha says, yeah, I found the same, and using my 0.2 millimeter nozzle looks amazing. Wow. I don't know, maybe I should get some nozzles. Maybe, what the hell. I don't know, do they still have that sale going on? Seriously. And I'm going to get that splitter program, too. Veritha says 0.2 lets you go down to 0.06 millimeter layer height. Holy crow, that is wild. Oops. Micro Swiss. So let's take a look at the Micro Swiss and see what we got here. Dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. And there's my counts. Need to be verified. Are you human? Seriously. I'm pretty sure a Terminator could click that and, oh, seriously, 6-digit code. Why? I don't know. Maybe a microchip in my hand would be good. So what we ended up getting, I got the first one way back then. I ordered the second one, that's coming in. And then one of them, I got that little piece delivered to me because I had problems. The connector ends, the Molex connectors on there, the wires were popping out. And so I contacted them and they sent me another one. But I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that and see what happens. Veritha said, we got Mark. Robert says discount code was BFCM 2025 if you want to try it again. Yeah, I might. That's what I'm going to check and see. So maybe I'll do that. And Veritha says, I got 3 hot end assemblies for my extruder. Each one holds one nozzle size 0642. Swapping modules takes 3 minutes. You're printing much slower, though, at a 0.2. Volumetric flow is in the basement. Yeah, kind of a little restricted, maybe. Little, I don't know. Could be. Let's see. K2 plus. And Diamondback nozzles, $124. Whoa! I say that every time I see that. It's like, oh! But yeah, that hot end was, regular $84, $85. And then with the 30% discount, it was like $58, $59 or something. And so Flowtech CM2 CHT. So could do another 04, or I could do a 6, 8, and 1 millimeter. They got a 1 millimeter? Holy crow. That is wild. That would be pretty wild. Rara says 0.06 is crazy small. Any recommendations on using the 0.2 nozzle? I heard bed adhesion is a pain. Any changes with print speed or temps? That'd be an interesting question, because I haven't heard anything like that. But then again, I always use glue stick on my beds. So I know like 99% or 98% of the time, I don't have any problems if I clean the bed and print and it's good to go. Increase the the bed temperature from 50 to 55, and I don't have any problems usually. There's a few times I have, but with that golden bed that I had, the aftermarket bed, I do find that even if it's squeaky clean, I will get some problems with it. So I just go ahead and use glue stick and call it good. Rara says, the diamond one is the only one they sell at 0.25 for the K2 Plus. Oh, okay. Oh, diamond nozzle. So let's take a look at the diamond nozzle. Oh, and they're out. You bought the last one. Consider yourself lucky, or whoever bought the last one. They got 0.4, 8, and 1. Wow. Yeah. That's a pricey little beast there at $124. That's a baby. Brass CM2 nozzles. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up a nozzle or two or something like that. You know, get a spare, and then I don't know. 6 and 8 in 1. I don't know. I don't think I'd need that. Maybe I just get a spare 4mm. But I'll have one coming in with that order that's in, so that could be good. Verithus pops up and says, there we go. First layer I print much thicker, 0.16, at least to some mush happening. I've tried a few materials, but so far PLA behaves nicely with some glue stick on the bed. ABS warped pretty hard. ABS would probably have amazing adhesion on a smooth build plate using ABS slurry. Netventive pops up. Hey, I like hairspray instead of glue stick. Clean with Windex. Okay, okay. I think we're good there. Yeah, I think I've got some. I got some of that. I got some hairspray somewhere. I think I moved it away from my printer when I was trying to put in some flooring, and then I didn't like the flooring, and it never got back to the printer. And then, yeah, so I don't know. But the glue stick, I had some glue stick that came included, so it was good to go. Rara says, yeah, I use polymer adhesive by Vision Miner. Lasts a few prints before having to add more. No more cleanup either. That's nice. Verithus says, UFF 124 is steep. I got the Creality Unicorn nozzles. Hot end assembly is like 25, nozzles like 10. Yeah. Hairspray for PLA, nice. I have to try that. It works. It works. And I don't know, when I do the glue stick, how you always get those little remnants, you know, you'll get a little streak of a little bit more glue, and it kind of bugs me because I wanted everything to be the same, and so I'll try to rub it in there and make sure it blends into the plate like the rest of it. But the hairspray, take the plate out of the machine because you don't want hairspray built up on the inside of your machine, and then spray that. But then, then you get the hairspray smell, which, I don't know, reminds you of the 1970s or 80s. I don't know, that could trigger some bad memories. But the hairspray works pretty well. And I don't know, I think 3-4 times or something, maybe 5 times was the most, and, you know, put a layer on. And then after those 5 times, I'd clean it and do it again. With the glue stick, it ends up, I'll print about 3 times, and then I'll clean the plate, and that's with that included glue stick that we got with the K2 Plus, and that pretty much nails it. I don't have any problems with that. But the Micro Swiss is definitely a good call. Definitely a good call. I haven't had any clogged nozzles, no problems, whereas with the stock Creality, nozzle clogs, and it was just like replace a nozzle, and then so I got other nozzles, had to replace another nozzle, and it's like, good Lord, seriously. As soon as I got that Micro Swiss, I think I got like 300-400 hours, haven't had a clog since, so. Netventive says, no scent is the key. Yeah, that would probably be a thing. kind of limited on what I can get here in Korea. But yeah, no scent would be the thing. Excuse me. So yeah, it's looking forward to that. Oh, and then the other thing that I'm going to be picking up that we talked about on that other video, on the previous video, the splitter program, compared to Luban. Remember we talked about that? I actually got a strike on my video for that, for copyright infringement, because apparently during that video I played a video and it had some music on it, and then that was enough to strike, to bring a copyright strike. So yeah, I thought that was odd. But yeah, comparing Splitter to Luban, boom. You know, we were talking about that before in Luban. You know, you're looking at, for 1 month is $25, a year is $125 permanent, $625 USD. And it does a lot of other stuff. But with the Splitter, I don't know, they just had their Kickstarter. They recently, I'm seeing more people that have picked this up. And again, the UI is definitely a lot better. It's not like the 1970s, like Luban, where you got to like watch a video or read the instructions on how to do it. This is pretty intuitive, but the price on this is pretty good. So it's about $70 for basic, about $110 for the full. This is in euros, but lifetime license. That's the thing. Lifetime license. Lifetime license. So yeah, I think I'm going to be picking this up here, especially since payday's. No, it's already payday. Yeah, it's already payday. Imagine that. It's for December. It's December already. Holy crow, where does time go? But yeah, that's, the splitter's looking pretty good. Definitely going to take a look at that. Rara says, you should check out nanopolymer adhesive. I bought a bottle and it's lasted me 1.5 years and I have half a bottle left. It's made for all filaments, even peak stuff. I swear by it and not messy. Really? Oh, nano, let me take a look at that. Nano polymer adhesive. Oh, okay. Alrighty. And I'm assuming that's what this one is right here. Unmatched bed adhesion. 50 milliliter bottle. Wow. 120 milliliter. That's not bad. Get a sample pack. Oh, cool. I wonder if they'll deliver to Korea though. That's the problem that I have, is there's some good stuff, but some of them won't deliver to Korea. So I don't know. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, thanks. Hopefully they will. Nice. Nedvendiv says, loved your video on Splitter and planning on trying it when I have the need. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And especially since I'm getting the itch to do a larger print and just to try to see, you know, a lifetime license for, you know, $70 for the basic package, 110 lifetime license. And, you know, lifetime license on Luban is $625. So this just reminds me of programs that I bought earlier that had lifetime licenses, and over time, the lifetime license went up in price, and or their monthly price or yearly price went up. I think Luban, their stuff went up. So, you know, you're still going to be at the whims of, you know, people are like, well, I'll just get Luban for a month or for a year or whatever. Those prices go up, and they will continue to go up because we have inflation, we have the cost of living, cost of goods and services goes up over time. And, you know, those people need to make some money, and so they raise their prices. Lifetime license, you're grandfathered in, and whatever new stuff that they end up doing, if they do something totally new, then usually you can get grandfathered in, or you get a severe discount compared to everybody else. And yeah, so the splitter, I am going to get it. That there's just no doubt about it. Let's see. Sultan, hey, we got Sultan pops in. Says, good morning, gang. Cold wave hit, but still lovely here in Korea. Yes, it is. A little chilly in Korea. Rara says by Vision Miner, so I'm assuming that's, yeah, by Vision Miner. That's the nano Whoosy thing that we got going there. Yeah, I will check that out. Hopefully they can deliver to Korea. That would be good. That would be good. Ferrithus says, okay, you have to run now. Enjoy your Thursday. Good seeing you always. And same to you, sir. Good. Have a good one. Rara says, that's it. I bought the 120 milliliter. I have 600 hours printing with half a bottle. Wow. And is it like a... oh, it has how to apply it. I'm going to turn the sound off so that way if anything pops up. Okay, no sound. I'll make this full screen. Talking about it. Yeah, doing your prints. How to use it. One layer. Really? Look at that. See if we can... so clean your bed. I put it full screen. I don't know if it was full screen for you. Hold like a pen. Draw an X. Circle. Circles X's. And then paint it. One way and then the other. Nice. Clean it. Removing. Okay. Carbon fiber build plates. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Nice, 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 nice. Oh, wow. How come I've never seen this before? I don't understand. That's kind of wild. Huh. Well, cool. Well, thank you for letting me know about that. That is very, very interesting. Available worldwide. See our resellers. Japan, Republic of Korea. Hey, they got it. Look. If we go here on their Vision Miner, and then they have K-Labs in Republic of Korea. Nice, nice, nice. K-Labs. So we'll see how that goes. And it's Naver. I've got a Naver account, so that works. Cool. Oh, now it's playing funny because I've got my VPN or whatever on. Same day shipping. I'll have to play with that a little bit later. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me know about that. That is incredible. Rah, wins the internet for today. Thank you. Much thanks. 120 milliliters, 600 hours of printing with half a bottle. That is a deal. Hey, we got Terry who pops up and says, hey, Steve. Hey, good to see you, Terry. Glad you're aboard. We've been talking about 3D printing stuff, and so we've been kind of geeking out on that a little bit. Anyway, I think what we'll end up doing, we'll talk about some Korea stuff and let you know, because I am American expat, retired here in Korea, and you get kind of involved in some of the things that happen here. 3D printing is a thing here in Korea, but it's not as big as what it is in the United States. There's only 50 million people in Korea, so yeah, it's a thing, but you can print out cool stuff, functional items, you know, cosplay stuff and all that, and I'm really surprised there's not more 3D printing in Korea, at least that I've seen online and stuff like that. So, but then I'm not knee deep into it. So, Sultan says, absolutely, no clue what you guys are talking about, but I love the energy. Rara says, I cleaned it like once every 5 prints or so and then reapply. It's a badass product. I like the company, not affiliated, just a fan. Well, appreciate that. Thanks. That is awesome, dude. Since I can get it here in Korea, I am definitely going to be picking some of that up. That is nice. And it seems like a good deal. So, again, thank you. Good. So, anyway, let's transition over to what's happening being retired in Korea. Coupang Leak is what we're going to talk about. Coupang is a kind of like an Amazon type thing. It's, you go on a page or you go on your app for Coupang, you can order a bunch of stuff. There's like 35 million people that are signed up that have Coupang accounts here in Korea. And again, there's only like 50 million people in Korea. So it is huge. It is huge. It is one of the big shakers and movers. And unfortunately, they had a user information leak. And the way that it came out was just bad. We'll talk about a wife who refused to donate a liver and the husband wanted to divorce her, that went to court here in Korea. Talk about a shoplifting teen who died, and there's a little twist on that. And then we're going to follow up with Korea being a super-aged society and how things are going to fare for us and maybe other countries that people are getting old and not so many young people. So let's just jump right into it. This is the Coupang's security gaps explained. Weak privilege controls, outdated oversight, and low security investment allowed the breach to unfold undetected for over 5 months. But there's a difference with this because, and we'll get to this. The incident exposing 33.7 million users. The leak, believed to be carried out by a former insider, has raised broader concerns about how vulnerable major platforms remain despite heavy spending on cybersecurity. And why an inside attacker is uniquely hard to prevent, what experts say need to change. The thing is that, it leaked names, emails, addresses, phone numbers, partial order histories, no payment or credit card information. But with all of that information of 34 million people, China gets that information and then they can do targeted ads, they can do nefarious things and so on and so forth. The phishing scams and, click this link because, we're Coupang or whatever. They've already started to see scams pop up on people's phones and stuff. And people are very concerned. We've got Coupang accounts and we've changed our password and everything. And it's like, what do you do with this? And they say that that the information was, or how it was done is because of their outdated system. But honestly, it was an insider. And when you find out who the insider was, it's really interesting. The fact that the breach went undetected for nearly 5 months triggered strong public concern. Coupang failed to detect the unauthorized access between June and November. Tuesday, the prime suspect is a former Chinese developer who worked for the company's authentication systems. So, so we got a guy from China, worked for Coupang, worked in the authentication, so no wonder he didn't get caught for 5 months. I mean, come on, seriously. And then the thing is that this guy ends up he quit and left. And then they found out, hey, wait a second, all this information is kind of a thing. And, obviously it's going to be hard to track when you have the person that works in the authentication doesn't raise any red flags because he does all the authentications. He probably has the know-all to do that. Says the suspect already had access privileges and generated a valid token to remotely extract the data. So I don't think that it's outdated. I think it's, and the fact that it was somebody from China does not do, it just makes it so much harder because China and Korea have been going back and forth. There's a lot of protests here in Korea against China for a number of things. One of them being, stupid people who are tourists who defecate or throw trash at, national monuments and things like that here in Korea. It's like, they smoke in restaurants and they're not supposed to. They trash places. It's just like, where are these people's manners? And so now there's protests on that. So now basically 34 million people who use Coupang don't like the Chinese already. Now they really don't like it because of this leak. So, yeah. And it ends up, basically what happens, I used to work in electronics, so I've got a little bit of knowledge on this stuff. And basically it ends up that with this is that if somebody has access to the authentication and they're having like a key, think like you got the key in your house and he has the key to get in and out of the house or get into a file cabinet to get information and put information in, take information out. And as long as he has the key, he's good to go and no one's going to ask any questions. But think of it this way, digitally, he can use that key to remotely access that file cabinet wirelessly over the air and through the interwebs and all that stuff to be able to get that information even after he quit, if there aren't procedures and policies in place to say, okay, well, you worked for us and your last day is this, we have to have a policy that says your keys, we're taking your keys away. Obviously, that didn't happen. Or there is no checks and balances to see that if he took all this information, took it, and then sent it and accessed it and kept it, and then he quit later on, even if you took his keys away back then, it was before the fact that he got that information. There needs to be another system of accountability, checks and balances to do that. So, yeah, it's just, it's, you know, unfortunately, it's a thing these days. So now a lot of Koreans are really pissed off at China. They're really pissed off at Coupang because they didn't see this coming. And this will probably go to court. Yeah, this is probably going to go to court to where it wasn't really a system failure. It's more of a procedural failure. But it could be that Coupang is going to have to pay maybe 1% to 3%. That's the last article that I ended up seeing on the news, is that they could pay a 1% to 3% fine of, I guess, whatever they're worth or whatever they make in a year or whatever, something like that. So that's going to be a massive amount of money. So yeah, it is going to be an interesting thing. Yeah. We have Briggs Android that says, still have not set up my PS, but I have gone ahead and purchased Splitter, blah, total, hoping to get it. Okay, wait a second. What do we got? Briggs Android. Okay, still have not set up my P2S. Oh, that's the new bamboo printer. But he purchased the Splitter. Total was $115, and hoping to set up a printer by the weekend. Cool, awesome. Getting into the 3D printing thing. I'm printing as we speak. But yeah, it's that's some cool stuff. I'm printing out some stuff right now. But with this Coupang thing, it's pretty rough. It's definitely pretty rough. Sultan pops up and says, as a veteran of the field who's worked in devs all over the world, I always felt software development culture in Korea, much of Asia, is pretty rough to say the least. Really? Wow. I know when I worked for the state of Colorado, and working in the Department of Corrections, we had a big thing because audio and video, we'd record inmates, and a lot of that data, the video and the audio and so on and so forth, would be used in court. So in other words, you had to have a chain of custody. You could not have, all of our systems you could not remotely access that at all. And that we actually had things in place to where if you tried to send a video or send an audio through the system to another user outside of our infrastructure, you know, our little network that we had, it wouldn't allow you to do it. And I was an administrator, and so was my boss. So we had access to that. And so, yeah, I could have taken information and widely, you know, put it out onto the web or dark web or whatever it is. But there was a system of checks and balances. And so anytime, I think there was me, my boss, there's the security manager, and I think there was one other person. So if there was any videos or any audio data, let's just say, that was downloaded from the hard drives, we have redundant hard drive systems, that there would be a notice that would be sent to everybody. So if it ends up, it's like, hey, my boss, you know, downloaded a video, and then it's like, you know, next day I come into work and see the email and say, hey, what did, you know, everybody would start, hey, what was this video for? Well, hey, they had this incident, we had to download the video, and then you'd have to have another person acknowledge that in the email. And so, in other words, it was a policy that would say, hey, this was downloaded, this is the reason why, this is the authorization, everybody knew about it. So again, it was a system of checks and balances. It was a little kind of old-ish, but it worked. But yeah, what do you do with an employee that works for the company that could download all that information locally? They didn't have to send it remotely. He could have just put it on a hard drive and, take it home with him and then send it. So, again, it just doesn't put a good light onto China. So, because Koreans and Chinese aren't doing well. Someone says SWDev is, until AI completely takes over, is more craft than just engineering. Software development. Yeah. AI is going to be the bomb. But then again, who programs the AI? And that's coming. That's coming. Somebody's going to corrupt the AI. So, yeah, it's a thing. But, yeah, they talk about spending, as far as how much they spend on, security and all this stuff. And again, it's just absolutely crazy. So they're probably going to get penalized. Like I said, there'll be a fine. I'm not sure of, it'll be 1% to 3%, at least that's what the news shows. And it's going to be a little rough on them for a while because people are like, what do we do now? And then there's concerns about phishing and voice phishing, data breach, and all this stuff. So yeah, matter of fact, like right here, they're concerned about possible voice phishing after getting the data. Yeah, they're already protesting this. And change passwords, which is people would end up doing there. It felt like someone could just somehow take everything from me, including my deposits in bank and brokerage accounts without me knowing. I thought voice phishing was something I only heard on the news, but Coupang incident told me this is no joke and could happen to anyone. And that's the interesting thing because, yeah, here in Korea, everything is tied to your phone. Your identity is your phone and your phone is your identity. And if you can get access to that, it is just kind of crazy. So like this person here, Park Min Soo, office worker, received a phone call from someone claiming to be a Coupang courier service telling him there was a problem with a recent purchase. But he didn't order anything. The caller described women's clothing precisely. For a moment, I thought my wife had bought something on Coupang using my ID, but I suddenly had this strange feeling something was off. It's that hair that goes up on the back of your neck. I said, I have no idea, and the caller was talking about and just hang up. He was right to be cautious since he received a couple of voice phishing messages in the past. So yeah, it's already starting with the links. The text that you get will say, hey, we're from Coupang, or we're from the bank, and you had somebody tried to access your coupon or whatever, click this link to rectify it or whatever. So they're already getting those type of things. And yeah, it's just like, and it's what's so hard is I would get texts on my phone for the coupon delivery guy that delivers to our apartment. Say, hey, I've got this package, blah, blah, blah. It's really big. Are you going to be home? Blah, blah, blah. Usually you can leave it and say a message, custom message that says, hey, deliver it to my front door, whatever it is, even if I'm not there. You can have special directions. Leave it with the security guard. Some people do that depending on the policy of the apartment complex. But now people are really hesitant to click any links. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Rara says, put them in jail, and then you realize you don't hire foreign nationals known for espionage as security specialists and authenticators. I know, right? It's like, you kind of brought that on yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying all Chinese people are bad, but it's a preventive measure that you should probably have somebody of your own country with such a huge database of information. And again, addresses, phone numbers, prior order history, and so on and so forth. They didn't get any credit card information or banking information this time, but imagine if they did. Because if you can get that, good Lord, holy crow. That would be And like I said, everything is tied to your phone. Everything. It is insane on how everything is tied to my identity is tied to my phone and vice versa. If I order something overseas, I have a personal customs code. That's something else that you also have to have because people were abusing the system and ordering things and trying to circumvent the VAT tax and stuff for personal use, and then they would order and then get a bunch and then they'd sell it and make money and not have to pay the taxes. So there's that. Da, 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 da. Okay, all right, we're good. Thought I had a voice phishing scam thing pop up. I've had some interesting messages, and I just totally ignore them and block the caller. But yeah, he quit. The Chinese guy quit, and apparently he went back to China. As far as we know that he quit, and that Korean news is like silent on where is this guy at? Did he go back to China? What is the whole deal? You know, in the United States, you would get, you know, oh, here was his Facebook account, here was his YouTube, and he did this and that. You would get a full history of this dude. Here in Korea, it's like, nah, the Chinese guy worked for us, and yeah, he did it, and that's all you heard. I haven't heard jack. So it's kind of a weird thing here in Korea. It's definitely. But yeah, put him in jail. Yeah, probably need to rethink who you hire. And just saying, not being racist. No, I'm not into racism. And what a tangled web we weave. Sultan says, so like any other craft, there's no love in what you're building. It shows in the quality, the experience, and the end result. Yep. Rara says, pops up and says, that's why they say, I bet they did it to get into the bank info and didn't want to admit it because of the repercussions. That has crossed my mind. And I didn't want to bring it up to the wife or anything because she's already freaked out enough as it is. But imagine, I mean, if you got the addresses, the phone numbers, and you worked for Coupang as an authenticator, you had access to all the banking information. I'm with you on that. It's pretty much a done deal. But if they did that, that would just sink Coupang, which is a huge company here in Korea. And yeah, that might be it, that they don't want this battleship to sink, and it's already damaged. But if they admitted that they had some banking information, bank accounts and so on and so forth, they would be toast. It would be, you know, what happens if Amazon got hacked? How many people use Amazon? That is a good question. How many people use Amazon? Imagine Amazon got hacked and addresses, phone numbers, and banking information. How many people in the world use or have Amazon accounts? We're going to ask the Grok 4.1. Doesn't disclose publicly the number of registered users worldwide. However, third-party estimates point to over 310 million globally. So 310 million people have Amazon, give or take. There's up to 300 million users in 2020. Could be 350 or 400 million when you factor in some other things. Imagine if what that would do to the stock price of Amazon if something like this happened to Amazon, where, you know, all of the users had all their private information hacked. What would happen to Amazon stock? Yeah, you short that and you'd be a billionaire. But with Coupang, yeah, maybe they did hold it back. I don't know. Excuse me. AI cannot create. Creation is a computation. It's more than just information exchange and management. It needs meaning to create. Anyway, enough wise cracking from this old fart. It does some pretty interesting things, though. some of the videos and, you know, I think what we'll see probably this next year, in the next year or two, I think we'll see, in my opinion, I think we'll see TV shows. I think we'll see like a short movie. I think we'll see a TV show that could be totally AI generated with characters, script, the whole 9 yards, and, you know, everything, which is just amazing. Let me see if I can find that. Dun, dun, dun. No, it's not there. Dun, dun. No, it's not there. I was pretty impressed with like for this. Check this out. So I put in some word prompts of make a Warhammer figure, and that's what we got. It totally generated that with the word prompts. Just word to text or from text to image, and then that was pretty amazing. I mean, that was like crazy. And then let me see. I think I did the video on that too. Had to make a video. Let me see if I can find that. Dun, 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 dun. Image projects. Let me see. Again, it's just like video, and we'll take that image. I guess I could show you what I'm doing. So we'll take that image, upload a file, and we had the one, seriously, icons, get it a little bit, yeah, that one right there. Because it made that, and it'll go through and it'll make this a video. I mean, that picture there is pretty impressive. I mean, if you showed that to somebody, you would be like, man, whoever painted that model did an incredible job. That's just AI. And there it is in video. That's pretty damn impressive if you ask me. That is impressive. I mean, it's just, we're going to have TV shows. We're going to have TV shows and movies that are going to be AI generated, and that is going to upset the apple cart, the system, like nobody's business. Have you seen anything edited on anything on AI editing YouTube videos for creators? I've seen some stuff where people have. It's just amazing, even with people and things like that. The AI and what you can generate, and then you could add in voices, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it is just incredibly fast how technology is advancing. But yeah, rough, a little rough. Yeah, I fully expect to see TV shows and movies again in the next 1 to 5 years. I'll give myself an out. In the next 5 years, we will have a TV show and or a movie, a full-length movie, using just nothing but AI. You know, so the thousands and thousands of people that make a movie, you know, actors, directors, staff, crew, the whole 9 yards, you know, film experts, graphics, and this and that, all of that is just going to be boom, gone, because you're going to have a handful of people that are going to be able to make a movie, and the script is going to be made by AI. You know, think of the great movies or TV shows, and you can say, go on to AI and say, hey, the show Yellowstone, that is a really good, engaging story, or something like Landman. You know, shows like that, it'd be pretty incredible. And say, take a storyline like Yellowstone, but set it in feudal Japan, you know, or whatever it is, and change the characters, do this and that. Same type of storyline, same type of elements. You could create a script that would just be incredible. And again, of course, it depends on the source material. If you have crappy material, garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So I think we're really getting to a point of we're going to see a TV show or a movie that's going to be fully AI generated, and it's going to rock some people's minds. It's just, 1 to 5 years, we're going to have that. Rara says, pretty wild. Does Grok 4.1 cost money? Nope, it doesn't, because I'm cheap. And it's just, but it's just, isn't that crazy though? I mean, you can, from text, you can get an image, and then that image, you can, get a video clip. And if you pay for the big one, I think you can get more time, but I'm not going to do that. I don't know. It's pretty impressive. I'm not something I would do, but the picture generation. And since we talked about this, imagine having that picture, being able to generate a picture of something and then convert it over into an STL for 3D printing. Yeah, all that's been done to death, AI models and so on and so forth. That has just overrun the system. But it's getting there. It's getting there. Sultan says, speaking of AI, have you tried Suno? It's an AI for music stuff. It's pretty insane. No, I haven't checked that out. But I think I will. Suno. Not sure what that is. Make a song, AI music, Suno, AI for music creators. No, I haven't checked that out. Pretty wild. Let's see what that pops up. Make a house song about quitting your job. Start with a simple prompt, dive into a pro editing. I don't know, let's see what happens. Make a song about overcoming alcohol and drug abuse using a raspy man's voice with a country rock influence. I don't know what this is going to do. I've never seen this before. Let's see what happens when we hit create. Your songs are ready already. Let's see what happens. Oh, I got to make an account. Seriously? I don't know. I don't know if I'll make an account. Seriously? Really? Google? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Yes, I'm human. We'll do that. We'll do that. I don't know. We're getting way off the topic with the stuff we were going to be talking about. Okay, so, let's go into the Suno. Song description. Country rock. And country rock. Song about overcoming drug and alcohol abuse using a raspy man's voice. Let's just hit create and see what happens. Breaking the chains. Okay. Can you, oh, so it's popping up. So it's making it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, Then you can upgrade to get the full song. So obviously you got to pay money. Let's see. Wow. Wow. Let's see if we get this one here and see what pops up. This is pretty wild. Ooh.
Breaking the chains, tearing them down, falling hard, but I'm standing now. No more drowning in the pain, breaking the chain.
Wow. That is that is impressive. Holy crow. And that's just a little, you saw what I ended up doing. That was just like a tiny little, wow. Music will never be the same. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so Sultan. Yeah. That's Suno. That is pretty insane. Holy crow. That is amazing. You can make your own music and not need to know anything about music. Amazing. Ramiro says, ask Rock if the Connect company leaked payment info. Sultan says, soon AI will shift most, if not all, human experience into the digital realm, and then eventually even consume those experiences will be digitized too. AI eating AI. Yeah. Wow. Bands are done? Could be. I mean, they already have, AI has already had things to where they have like, you have influencers on Instagram and YouTube and social media and all that stuff, and then they'll sell products and so on and so forth. They already have AI characters that are doing all that, and they're making money doing it. So somebody came up with an AI character, some female, whatever, and boom, they're selling products, and they're, looking hot and sexy and whatever, and millions of followers. It is already a thing. But I mean, something like this, wow. That is incredible. We can, yeah, that is just, bands are done. I mean, I think they are. Let's see. We're redoing this as classic rock. So I changed the prompt to classic rock, and it's going through, and we'll see what. And maybe the next one we'll do another one as soon as this finished processing, and we'll try and see what this one sounds like, and then we'll change it with a woman's voice, a raspy woman's voice, and see how that sounds. But I mean, you could do apparently you could do any type of, wow, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, music's done. The days of, because you could go through if you're in the style of Eminem or your favorite singer or group or whatever, you could put that in there and you could make your own lyrics, make your own songs. Hell, you could it's making the lyrics for you, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, bass is pretty much done anyway. Where's this generation Queen or Stones or Rush or Led Zeppelin? I know, right? Yeah. I mean, those groups were already so far advanced than the modern music that we have today. There's no lyrical geniuses out there. It's very rare that you would have somebody on the same level as some of the old bands. But I mean, you saw how many seconds it took for this thing to make the lyrics of a song. I mean, that's a full song. You got the intro, the verse, the chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge. Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Let's see what we got over here. Classic rock, breaking the chains.
Shadows creep, they bite my heels. Lies whispered, broken deals. Bottles crash, doors remain. Empty rooms, full of pain.
Uh-oh, here comes.
Breaking the chains, breaking the chains. No more drowning in the rain. Breaking the chains, breaking the chains. I'm alive, I'm alive again.
Wow. Let's change it to raspy woman's voice. And see how that pops. We'll see how that goes. This is just incredible. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Utterly amazing. So let's see. It's going to be cranking this out a little bit. So let's dip back, and as that's processing, we'll hit some of this other stuff. So here in Korea, it ends up that the wife refuses to donate the liver, and it ends up being a divorce. This is a weird thing here in Korea. Yeah, this is actually a thing. If you thought this was a thing, it says court rules against husband who filed for divorce over the wife's refusal to donate a part of her liver. Wow. Husband who filed for divorce because she refused to donate a liver to him lost the case with a court ruling that the organ donation is a matter of individual autonomy and cannot by itself justify breakdown of a marriage. Wow. According to the case involved, a couple of marriage broke down over a liver transplant. The husband, diagnosed with a rare liver disease, given a year to live, requested a transplant from his wife, who was found to be a compatible donor. Holidays, Christmas dinner is going to be a little awkward, isn't it? The wife refused, citing trypanophobia, extreme fear of sharp objects. She told her husband she's unable to even look at needles, let alone undergo surgery involving scalpels. That seems, I mean, it's a thing, but that seems really sketchy, you think? Despite her refusal, the wife continued to care for her husband during his illness, but the husband dismissed her efforts as hypocritical and verbally berated her, saying there was no point to her caregiving. His family also joined in the criticism, accusing her of not helping her husband while he was dying. Amid the conflict, the liver A liver became available from a deceased donor, and the husband underwent a successful liver transplant. After recovering, he began to suspect that his wife's phobia had been fabricated and eventually confronted her. What are the odds of that happening? She admitted that, and then she admitted that she'd lied. Yes, it wasn't true, but if something went wrong during the surgery, what would happen to our young daughters? The husband, unmoved by her explanation, it did not matter whether I lived or died, and then he filed for divorce. However, the court ruled that, again, organ donation is a matter of personal body autonomy, can't be considered cause for the breakdown of a marriage. The court also noted that as a mother of young children, the wife had valid concerns about risks of her own health. Although the couple continued to clash during the initial ruling, they ultimately agreed to divorce. In the second trial, focused on assigning responsibility for the breakdown of the marriage, the court sided with the wife. The court determined that the root cause was not the wife's lie or her refusal to donate, but rather the husband's verbal abuse and coercion. By pressuring his wife to undergo organ donation, condemning her for refusing, the husband severely undermined the trust between them. The court says he bears full responsibility for the collapse of the marriage. That's weird. That's kind of a weird thing. I mean, it's the first time I read that and I saw that she had the fear of sharp objects and whatever, and I was like, that's sus right there. That's sus. Would you, if your spouse needed your liver and it was compatible, would you give that up to your spouse? If they were dying, and then you say, no, we got kids, I'm afraid of sharp objects. No, I lied. Oh, I was concerned about the kid. I don't know. It doesn't sound like they had a real good marriage to begin with. If my wife needed a liver, I'd be all over it, As long as I could recover, pretty much, those things, those types of surgeries have been done with such a high success rate, I would be like, no problem. And I can go back to the gym after I recover, it's all good, If not, maybe I would question. No, I would honestly donate my liver. So, and it was just a part of the liver. And then the fact that he got a liver from somewhere else and he recovered, and then their marriage fell apart after that, and it was divorce, and it was because of the verbal abuse and the coercion and whatever, and their divorce. That just tells me that their marriage was not on stable ground. That's all I'm going to say. Would you give up your liver for your spouse, and vice versa? I don't know. Mine would. I would. And mine would. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. All right. Let's go back to the Sunu. And we had we changed it to classic rock, overcoming drugs and alcohol using a raspy woman's voice. So let's see how this sounds. And we got some different lyrics on this. Okay. Good intro. Ooh. Cut out. Let's see if we get one on this one here. Night swallow me all, about my only friend. Chase shadows down the drain, no light, no end, no. Wow. That is pretty, wow. That is pretty impressive. That is pretty, classic rock. Let's make it, rap. Rap song. Using a duet. With a raspy woman's voice and man's voice. Let's see what that does. Okay. This will be interesting. Alrighty. We'll go back. Well, as that's processing, since we did the liver divorce thing going on there, yeah, that is definitely a thing. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is a shoplifting teen dies here in Korea. There's a little bit of a twist on this, and this is kind of a strange topic. This is, again, one of those weird things. Teen dies after shop spreads images of her shoplifting. You think that would be a thing? So anyway, it ends up the death of a high school student in South Chungcheong province after images of her taking ice cream from an unmanned store circulated among local teenagers has triggered a new public debate over privacy. Here's an interesting thing. Here in Korea, they have stores. No one works there. In other words, you scan your ID to get physical access into the store. You get whatever it is that you're going to get. I'm going to buy this, and then you scan it, and then you pay for it, and there's no person there. There's no cashier. The store is empty of all people. That's how it is here in Korea in some stores. Convenience stores can do that. Ice cream store. It seems to be a thing with ice cream stores, though. You go in, you get your ice cream, you scan it, you pay, and yeah, you don't have to see anybody. So it's a thing. But yeah, apparently, and if you get caught, if you don't pay, they've got your ID and you can get in trouble that way. So an 18-year-old identified as Lee was found dead in her home in Hongsong September 23rd, a few days after the store owner sent images of her stealing to a local tutoring room. Photos are shared with students there and quickly circulated among the teenagers in the region, soon reaching Lee and her family. She suffered extreme anxiety after the images were revealed. She is said to have expressed her frustration in text messages to friends as, "What do I do? My heart is shaking. How can I show my face? How am I supposed to handle these rumors?" Well, it's not a rumor, you stole. Her brother also said she confided in him right the night before, saying she didn't know how to move forward. The mother planned to meet with the store owner the next day to resolve, but she unalived herself the following morning. The family has filed complaints with police accusing the unmanned store owner violating Personal Information Protection Act and Act on Promotion of Information and Communication Network. The head of the study room who shared the photos was also accused of violating information communication laws. Ooh. Lee's father became the target of ridicule and humiliation because of illegally distributed CCTV images, and she collapsed under fear and despair. That is, interesting. Whether releasing unblurred security camera images is ever justified. Many argue that minors committing petty theft should be handled through legal procedures, not public exposure, and the spread of identifying images constitutes a form of digital mob justice. I don't know. At the same time, small businesses owners, especially those running unmanned stores, are often targets of theft, say they feel they have no other way to protect their livelihoods. Several have written online that repeated losses from shoplifting threaten their ability to keep their business open, and exposure feels like the only deterrent left. Because basically you're shaming them and saying, hey, don't do this or you will get shamed, which we used to have shame in the United States. So, yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Legal experts warn that regardless of financial pressures, publishing identifiable images is illegal and can result in defamation or privacy violations. Wow. In 2022, a store owner in Incheon was fined after posting a child's photo over an alleged theft of Pokemon cards. So shoplifting must be addressed through police reports and legal processes. public circulation of images, especially minors, can inflict irreversible harm. So they're investigating the circumstances of the image leak as well as the family's allegations. So, yeah, that's really sad. I mean, it's messed up. Corsair says, bought some candy at an unmanned candy store in Korea when I was there. Yeah, it's a thing. And Sultan says, yeah, it's sad, unfortunately, that it ended in somebody not being around anymore. Sarah's referring to liver donation marriage story. That's sad too. I mean, both of these are sad, you know. Corsair pops up and says, that's what I was thinking too with this here. Minor, thought she was 18. And how's it defamation to show the truth? That is a question, but there are laws on the books here in Korea that if you say something, even if it's true, like let's say you go to a business and they give you bad service, you know, the product was bad, it wasn't resolved or whatever, and you leave a bad review and that damages the reputation of the business, they can actually sue you. Yeah, it's actually a crime here in Korea for defamation. So it's not widely enforced, but it has been a number of times, and it is a thing here in Korea. And which is strange because Korea is such a review-oriented country. You know, when you look for a dentist or a restaurant or get your nails done or whatever it is, you look for businesses that have good reviews and people do a good job. Let's say you go get your nails done or whatever, and then they do a good job. You leave good reviews, and of course that's going to, you know, build that reputation of that person or business. But if you end up having a bad review, there was a case on that where some beauty shop, and it ends up the person posted the truth, but then the beauty salon or whatever it was, they filed a report saying that it was defamation, even though it was true, and the court sided with it. So yeah, it's kind of an odd, it's a weird thing that they got going on here in Korea. Now, if it's minors, you know, this whole thing, if it was my unmanned store, boom, you caught 18-year-old. What is the legal age? What is the legal age of adulthood in Korea? That's my question. That would be interesting. Let's find that out. I thought it was 18 myself. What is the legal age for someone to be considered an adult in Korea? I thought it was 18. Oh no, it's 19. It says 19 years old as of 2025. June 28, Korea officially lowered the age of majority from 20 to 19 through a revision of the Civil Act. This meant that a person becomes a legal adult on 1 January of the year they turned 19. Before the change, Korea was the last country to consider 20 as the age of majority. So, okay, interesting. But voting age is 18. Driving license is 18. Military service obligation starts at 18. But as of now, 19 is the clear legal age for adulthood in South Korea. So that's kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, apparently she's a minor. 18, you're a minor. 19, in this instance, this situation, yeah, how can it be defamation? Yeah, it can be. It's on the books. So, yeah, it's strange when you retire overseas. There will be some different things that'll make you scratch your head, and you're like, yeah. But for the majority of people, you don't see that. For the majority of people, if you get bad service or you get a defective product or whatever, you work with that business or person and they make it right. In all the circumstances I pretty much had, they will work with you to try to make it right. But this is odd. I mean, why would you Why would you send the photos to the tutoring school? That doesn't make sense, because you have to scan your ID, and when to get into an unmanned store, so obviously they know who it is, and they would know your address because the ID has your address and so on and so forth to get into the store. So why didn't they just contact the parents and deal one-on-one with the parents on this? Why would you have to send the pictures to the tutoring school? I don't know. It seems like they overstepped their bounds in that aspect. And of course, that begs the question, why didn't you just file a police report and deal with it that way, like the article says? But yeah, why would you show the pictures to a tutoring school? Kid doesn't live at the tutoring school. I get that you're trying to put the utmost amount of shame, and apparently the child, the 18-year-old child, ended up stealing ice cream from this place multiple times. So I don't know, was it just a level of shame that it's like, well, let's jump this up to the next level and maybe they won't steal from my store anymore? I don't know. I think I'd get in touch with the parents and then I'd, file a police report at the same time. But yeah, that's just kind of a weird, there's some strange different things about Korea. I mean, there's a lot of good things, but then again, there's things in the United States that other country people would show up and say, hey, that's kind of weird, that's kind of strange. So, yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, she unalived herself, and it's just not looking good. So definitely, I don't know. And then there's this big thing on as far as blurring images of people and children and the whole 9 yards. And I've seen more and more of it. Hell, even on the Korean TV shows, when you have people walking down the streets, they'll blur out like everybody. And it's just kind of detracts from, it's protecting people's privacy, but if you're doing like a travel vlog or something like that, like one TV show, this person was traveling through Korea, and you can't really see anything because you're walking through clouds of people, so basically there's a big giant blur in the middle of the screen with the one person who was on video was clear, and it's just like, seriously, really, how far are we going to take this? I don't know. It's just kind of an odd thing. And this kind of goes into our next spot. So, talking about blurred pictures, this one's a little better because they blur the pictures there, their faces. But the other one is talking about, it just had like a band across, basically their whole torso and their head was nothing but blur. And then the person like on the bicycle, he was totally clear. So it's just kind of weird. Which brings us into the next one as we roll into this. 1 in 3 South Koreans living alone in a super-aged era. South Korea's demographic structure is shifting at its fastest pace yet, and it's not the race that they want to win. Single-person households surpassed 36% the first time last year, and senior citizen population crossing the 10 million mark. That's kind of a huge thing. 10 million is huge, pun intended, but Korea only has about 50 million people. So that is a huge thing. So on Social Security, they have their own Social Security, the number of single-person households reached a record high of nearly 8.05 million last year, a sharp rise from 5.2 in 2015 and 6.4 in 2020. And yeah, it's kind of a thing. If the current pace continues, the ministry projects single-person households will reach 8.5 million by 2027 and 10 million by 2042, cementing the model as the country's dominant living arrangement. The population aged 65 and older reached 10 million for the first time last year, representing 20.01% of the country into Korea as being a super-aged society. So they're not having a lot of kids here in Korea. It is picking up as far as pregnancies and stuff like that, but we're still going to be a super-aged society. And that's going to cause problems because you're not going to have as many people working as you did as the previous generations. So they're going to rely more on foreign labor, which, some people don't like that. So it's a thing. But it's definitely it's definitely a thing. So the super age society, and it talks about how there's more medical treatments. Koreans receive medical treatment an average of 18 times a year, far exceeding the OECD average of 6.7. But then again, here in Korea, anytime somebody gets the sniffles, you go to the clinic. So it seems, in my experience, that people will, in the United States, just on my experience, so it doesn't mean much, I know, but if I'd had the sniffles, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I wouldn't go to the clinic. I'd just kind of power through it, man up, and just drive through it, unless I was really, 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 really sick. Here in Korea, if you're feeling under the weather, you'll go to a clinic, you'll go to a doctor, you'll get an IV with a bunch of vitamins and minerals and whatever it is, the oomph, the immunity packs in the IVs, which are really inexpensive here, by the way, and to help get over said sniffle, cough, whatever it is. So that's a thing. And then there's a lot of medications, for your symptoms and whatever it is. We talked about on a previous video on how Korea kind of over-prescribes antibiotics. And so now we're getting these, super bugs that are immune to antibiotics because they're over-prescribed. So you got to take that into consideration. Again, amongst these other nations, where the average doctor visit is only 6.7 visits a year and 18 is here in Korea, you have countries that are poor where, they can't afford to go. So again, it's not an apples to apples type of comparison. So, but they do have some excellent medical care here in Korea. Even if you don't get antibiotics, they will still have a bunch of pills for you to take to get over your symptoms and whatever it is. You'll have people that will go and, hey, I'm still feeling under the weather. Okay, well, here's another IV with some other stuff in it and whatever. So it depends on the system. So whenever you read stuff like this, it's kind of like, oh, Korea's, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But being in a superaged society, that is going to cause some problems because they're going to need more laborers, and those laborers are coming from foreign countries. And some places here in Korea that need laborers for the town to survive or for the tourist areas to survive. We just saw a thing where, I forget the name of the town, but it was kind of like a ski resort. And it's a small town, and then they're talking about importing workers. Getting a bunch of foreign workers, which would be 10% of the town's population. And the town is like, oh, we can't do that. That would just destroy our culture and whatever. There's something to be said for that, but if you don't get the foreign laborers, you're not going to be able to run the business that keeps the town alive. So you got to compromise somewhere. And this town generally has a lot more older people than younger people, so that comes into play. Some stereotypes, the ways of thinking, the points of view are different with older people than they are with younger people. Old people way back in the day, marrying a foreigner was verboten. Oh, we don't do that. But nowadays it's not a big thing for the younger generations. So. But there is something to be said. Will you lose some of your culture with such a huge impact or influence of foreign laborers? And something says that that's kind of true. If you have a bowl of soup and you put too much of a spice in there, that spice will overpower the soup. Okay, just to put it in relatable terms that I can understand. So you don't want to overspice it, I guess is what I'm saying. But then the people and the laborers and the workers who come there, they need to be able to assimilate into the country that they're going and working in. So there's that. But then they still need to hold on to their heritage and their traditions and so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting time that we live in here in Korea because of that. So, Rara says, being retired military, does VA cover your health care out there, or do you have to go through the Korean medical system? There is no VA clinic here in Korea. Okay, there's one in the Philippines, but there's not in Korea. But with that being said, you can get foreign medical program with the VA, so I can go get medical treatment in a Korean hospital I can file that with the VA. Of course, I have to pay for my medical up front, and then I file for a refund for the medical treatment that I got, and usually it'll take about a month. I don't use my VA. I use my retired military, so I'm able to use TRICARE Overseas Select as my medical insurance over here. I use that in lieu of the Korean National Health Insurance, which is accepted by them. And I go to hospitals that are in network that will process the TRICARE paperwork for me. So when I go to Good Morning Hospital in Pyeongtaek, or if I go to St. Mary's, or if I go to Samsung Medical, I go to the international office. They have English-speaking staff there that will accept my TRICARE Overseas Select insurance, and boom, I go, I show up, hey, I'm an appointment for this or that. They give me some paper, I go see the doc, get my prescription or whatever it is, come back down to the international office, I do my copay, which is maybe 60,000 won. Exchange rate is about, what, 1470 right now. So let's say it's 60,000 won. Divide that by 1470, and that ends up being 40 bucks. So $40 copay, and I'm good to go. They will process all the paperwork, and then usually 2 or 3 weeks later, I'll get a letter, and I'll get a refund from the TRICARE, usually around $20, $25. So I get a refund off of that. So subtract that from $40, and that's what my copay ends up being after all is said and done. So yeah, you've got some things, you've got some options for that. If you're just VA disabled and you need treatment for your VA disabilities, you can go to a Korean hospital, get treated, pay everything up front, and then get refunded by the VA. You have to file that paperwork. The hospitals won't do that for you. If you're retired military and the hospital is in network, and they will process your TRICARE paperwork, you don't have to file anything. So again, you got apples and oranges there, but that's how that works. But being retired military, we just go to in-network hospitals, and yeah, we pay our little thing. We're good to go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I hope that answers the question. But I have noticed as you get older, you get more medical appointments. And the Korean medical part is something that needs worked on. Because now the older you get, when you have, so many people that are super aged, as a super aged society, you're going to need more medical appointments. They don't have enough doctors. And they had the doctor strike, and again, it's going to be a couple of years before they get back to pre-strike levels. So again, we're still getting some lag time in appointments that are pushed down the road because of the strike, which the Korean Doctors Union said, oops, my bad, I didn't know it would result in this. And the result was a bunch of people died because they couldn't get treatment, they couldn't get surgeries. I've done on past streams where we had the kid who ended up having a cardiac heart attack, went to 14 different hospitals, and they rejected him because they didn't have pediatric cardiac staff or whatever. And yeah, they got accepted to a 15th hospital, but he didn't make it. He was DOA by the time he got there. So yeah, there's some problems with the Korean medical system, but overall, knock on wood, we're trying to stay healthy, and things have been really good in that aspect. So yeah, that's how that works out. So yeah, do we have anything else? I don't think we do. Oh, we got the rap song. Let's go back to the rap song. Before we do that, Rara says, I'm 100% disabled, so I can use civilian hospitals and VA covers it. I use community care doctor, non-VA. I had to get approved by the VA before I can go, but emergency, the VA covers it. Yep, that's absolutely true. So yeah, you can, and if you look at foreign medical program with the VA, Google that, they will have all the rules. There's actually a Facebook group that, let me see if I can find that, because I'm part of a group on that. And let's see, foreign medical program around the world. So check out this page, Foreign Medical Program Around the World. And this is what it's about. For U.S. military disabled veterans to find information, tips, tricks, all that stuff for Foreign Medical Program of U.S. Veterans Affairs. So they've got some real good information on here as far as, getting treatment overseas and so on and so forth around the world. They got some good information on there. But yeah, you can get treated, and they got their own little rules and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely something that you can do. So for some people that have, like for example, or have VA disabilities and they need to get treatment and yet they want to retire overseas, but how does that work? There are ways that you can do that through that foreign medical program that the VA has. So get your treatment, you're good to go. They kind of got their own network of hospitals, and yeah, it is a thing. So that could be holding some people back that didn't know that they could retire to other countries overseas and were concerned about not being able to get medical care for their VA disabilities, but you can. And in previous videos, I also talked about how with your Social Security, you can get your Social Security check deposited into foreign bank accounts. And the same way with the VA disability checks, you can get those deposited into foreign bank accounts as well. And there's lists for what countries are allowed, they're allowed to do that with. So another tool in the toolbox to kind of help you if you're looking to retire overseas because you won't be able to retire in the United States or you're just tired of the United States. Yeah, that is an option. But yeah, some good stuff. So instead of having to play, well, I got to send money from my bank and then I got to exchange it, whatever, VA disability and the, I think it was, let me see if I can find this. Can U.S. military foreign bank accounts? Because I can't remember if that was the case. Like in a military pension, I'm retired military. Those can be deposited into an international direct deposit program managed by DFAS. So you can do that. There's around 40, 50 some odd locations, Canada, most of Europe, Australia, Japan, South Korea. Full list is on the official DFAS site that can show you that. So you can enroll it to do that, complete a form, which is 1199I. Let's see if we can find out where that is. Here it is. So let me show you. Because a lot of people didn't know this. So your military retirement can do that as well. I have mine going to Navy Federal Credit Union. We have access to the military base, which has Navy Federal Credit Union, so this isn't a thing. So this is the DFAS site, and let me go ahead and post this link. So this is going into the comments. That is the site that we're looking at right now, and it talks about how international direct deposit is available for U.S. military retirees living in eligible locations. And yeah, it'll be deposit the funds in the first business day of the month. And it has a list of countries that we see there, which is pretty extensive. I mean, seriously, look at that. So even Iraq, what? That's odd. Doesn't have North Korea though. But yeah, look at all those countries. So that is a huge list. So yeah, who would have thought that you would be able to do that in so many different countries? So yeah, it's definitely a thing. You can get your pension, your VA disability, and your Social Security. All of those can be deposited into foreign bank accounts. So I know there are some people that were asking me about that. Well, I get Social Security and I've got this, but how am I going to do this because I'm not retired military, or how am I going to get the funds from my pensions or whatever of these things? So yeah, it is. It's definitely a thing, and something that some of these things I knew, some of these things I didn't. Like the pension, military pension going into a foreign bank account. I didn't know that. Somebody passed that along to me. I'm passing it on to you all. Rara says, awesome. I was one of those that didn't know. Yeah, same here. Rara says he's Navy Federal Credit Union as well. Yeah, and the reason I got with Navy Federal Credit Union is because we knew that we were going to retire close to Camp Humphreys, Korea, the military base, which is the largest U.S. overseas military base in the world. We knew we were going to live in this area. So that's why it was like, hey, well, I'll just get a Navy Federal Credit Union account. We got it when we were in Oahu, and had everything deposited into that account. And then, yeah, we just go there. So if we need money to go into our Korean bank account, we'll go to Navy Federal. We'll withdraw the money in U.S. dollars. And then we'll go to a money exchange place to exchange it from dollars to won. You'll get a better exchange rate that way. And then we'll take it to our Korean bank and deposit it there. Because the Korean banks, their exchange rates, they're going to take their cut and you're not going to get as much. So on the money exchange stores, we'll give you way better rates. Usually about three or five more than what you would in the bank. Sometimes 10 or 12, it depends. So Rara says, I will not be going back to Iraq, not even if I'm paid. I know, right? There's just so many countries I would never go to. But it's amazing that they would allow you to deposit money into some of these places, which is like, I wonder if they have Russia. Yep, Russia's there. Boom. Amazing. Crazy. So, and that's a concern for a lot of veterans or people that get these type of pensions or disability payments that don't know this stuff. And it's very hard to find this information out. So, yeah, always having somebody with boots on the ground and sharing information is always good stuff. Terry says, if you have Social Security deposit into a foreign account, you have to fill out a form every year so they know it's still you. If you forget to do the form every year, they'll stop the deposit. Yeah, that seems kind of stupid. But I get it. On the other side of the coin, if it's Social Security, what if you die and the spouse just keeps collecting the check? We've seen that happen. So I kind of get that as well. But, it should be, yeah, it is what it is. But at least it's an option. At least it's available for you to get your money into a foreign bank account for Social Security or VA disability or your military pension. So that's kind of a good thing. Yeah, so some good stuff there. Good information. Let's see if we got anything else. I don't think so. Let's go back to the music because I forgot about that. So we did, and this is going to be a rap song, Overcoming Drug and Alcohol Abuse. So to do it with a raspy woman's voice and a man's voice. So let us see how this goes. You ready? Ooh. Sing it. Yeah. Oh, does that sound good?
Woke up in a haze, last night's a smudge. Life in the gutter, couldn't climb from the sludge. Mirror crack, it laughed when I stared. Reflection said, boy, you still scared. Bottles on the floor, demons in my veins. Every sip, every hit, a link in my chain.
Ashtray night smoke fill my
Wow. That was impressive. Holy crow. Let's try this one and see. That's the same thing. Let's try this one. Piano loops, rap, gritty, subtle vocal harmonies between a raspy female and male voice.
Glass shattered on the bathroom floor. Chased demons through the liquor store. Felt the devil tap tap on my front door. One more sip, he said, and you'll soul. But I hit rock, couldn't sink no deeper. Life played a loop, a scratched out speaker.
I saw you drowning, fist to the tide. I screamed your name, but you just hide. Break the chain, unburn the pain, rise through the storm. I'll let the rain. No more poison running through my veins. Break the chain. Break the chain. Bottles lined up like soldiers in a row. Each one a war I lost blow by blow. Eyes bloodshot, couldn't see the glow. Chased that high, but it sank me low. Now I climb, fingers cut on the ledge. Promise myself won't dance on the edge.
I saw you slip, the fire in your eye, but I won't let you be your own demise.
Break the chain, unbend the pain, rise through the storm. I'll let the rain. No more poison running through my veins. Break the chain. Break the chain.
Wow. That is. And that's that is pretty impressive. Wow. That's suno.com. That is pretty impressive. And that's not, I'm not even paying for that. That's just the free stuff you can get. You can upgrade to that. I've used all my credits. Again, I'm not associated with this, but we just kind of went down this rabbit hole. Free starter plan 0, 50 credits are renewed daily. So basically 10 songs a day. You do $8 a month and then you can have way more. That's pretty wild. That is incredible. So yeah, you don't even know how to sing or dance or make music or learn instruments or music theory, none of that stuff. You do your own lyrics or let it supply your own ones. That is absolutely crazy. Wow. Let's see, what else? We got, Terry says, I checked on it when I started drawing Social Security in August. Cool. Talking about that deposit thing. I got a few more years. Just 59, so I got a few more years before I can start drawing at 62. Rama says, hey, thanks for chatting. I'm going to take off. Thanks for the info. You were absolutely welcome, and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. So it's always good to have some good people around. So with that being said, I think we're going to end up doing, since some people are taking off and I'm getting a little bit of hangriness going on, we're going to stop the video. Again, really appreciate all the likes that you can do. That really helps out the channel. It's a thing. And with that being said, the outro, we have a bunch of people that bought me coffee. If you want to do that, link in the description box. But the very best thing that you can end up doing is liking and subscribing to the channel. If you want to contact me about anything, 3D printing, printers, whatever, doesn't really matter, just say hi. There's my email address. I always answer my emails. 100%, might take a couple of days, but I do answer them all. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. And thank you for joining us on Retired in Korea. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Good stuff. Good people. Good stuff.